Drinking started already. Been doing it since 8 o'clock this morning straight. How are we doing, everybody? We're back doing a show in a context with a feeling that I really wished that I didn't have to make. Really wish that I didn't have to do this stream. I just wanted to be able to tune in, come online on a Monday night, feeling a little bit optimistic, just a little bit. Even if yesterday's result was the same, even if it was a loss against Arsenal, sometimes shit happens in football, right? Sometimes it happens. But that applies for 99.99 to the power of 10 million% of football clubs on the planet. See, Manchester United, we're a special case. A special case, literally a human experiment to see just how depressed and frustrated and angry can a human actually get. Manchester United used to be a football club that brought everybody joy, right? It brought a lot of people an escapism. Every weekends, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, hell, even Thursday nights. An escapism from reality, right? 90 minutes, and then the rest of the weekend would be a blast as well, right? You get to enjoy all the other football going on, get to enjoy all the other matters, sit there and have some smashing conversations about your football team, reminisce on the good times in the past and the bright futures that your club and maybe your mates are fans of other clubs, and you talk about their futures as well and how everything's all feeling good, right? It's all feeling jovious. Manchester United over the last 10 years has transformed itself into a human torture experiment where we're witnessing the human limits being pushed to see just how depressed people can actually get. I'm surprised we haven't got a science company or a laboratory company plastered as the shirt sponsor or featured anywhere in the club sponsorships page. I'm surprised we haven't, because Christ almighty, it really feels like the way that this club has been going in the last 10 years, right up until this day, has been nothing but just complete blur. It's just a complete blur at this point. I mean, sure, we started the season playing awfully, awful football. But there's things in which potentially you can turn things around. Spurs happens. It's just like, well, that's a bitter pill we have to swallow, because look, it was always going to happen. We're always going to get what we deserve. Then push on to Nottingham Forest. We show a few promising signs, right? A few signs of life. And you think, okay, well, if this is United starting to pull themselves together a little bit and start to find their feet in the season, then perhaps this could be a starting point. Not expecting perfection. Got a very tough game of Arsenal coming up next, not feeling overly confident about getting the win. Obviously, then that across that week, things gradually got a bit more fiery for United fans. We were thinking, well, you know what? Look at Arsenal having all of their problems. maybe we can go and actually get a result there, you know? Because if, tell you what, 2 weeks before that, everyone had the slightest hope in hell. But we were going to the Emirates, a bit of a feel good factor going on. It's like, come on, guys, let's go and get the second win on the bounce there, right? Let's go and get a win at the Emirates against Arsenal. There's a time to do it. It's now. For 90 minutes, we didn't put in a good enough performance to warrant a win, right? We didn't warrant a win, but we were 1-1. We were on course to drawing. We were on course to picking up a point away from home. It's better than a loss, though the margins are very small and near insignificant because, as I like to call a draw, it's actually a dross because you lose more from a draw than you actually gain from a loss. If you get my drift with that, so you're much closer to a loss than you are to a win in the case of a draw. So I like to call it a dross. But then 90 minutes happens, and after that, we gave up. We gave up, we stopped playing, and Arsenal went on to compound our misery. But the way in which that they compounded our misery was in a way where it's like a lot of people, as I actually fully expected, would start thinking Arsenal were in a title charge. Please, it's Man United. It's just Man United. I never, ever thought I would ever have to say this. It's only Man United. Like what Spurs were to us under the Fergie days. It's only Man United. It's not. It's nothing special. You could talk like that if you went and beat Newcastle. You could talk like that if you went and beat Newcastle 3-1. You could. You could. I'd understand it. I would absolutely understand it. But this is Man United. I would, if I was a neutral, I would be saying, look, it's more significant for a club to beat Brighton than it is to beat Manchester United because just the way in which our squad is, the way in which our players are, the way in which our ideology is like. Gary Neville said that, in his post-match comments, that as far as the ownership is concerned, the club talks like it's a mid-table club. Well, yeah, we do talk like it's a mid-table club because let's be real, it probably actually is. We probably are a mid-table club. Maybe that's the bitter truth that we'll have to come to accepting in the near future. Perhaps that's where we are. We haven't clocked it yet. It's so surreal. Just doesn't feel like it's real. That we might actually be sat at a point where our club is actually completely finished. Because it's not just on the basis of the loss, but then the following days, I know we got the talk of, oh, Glazers are taken off the market. I called BS on that story straight away. I still think it is BS. Everyone's still, well, I say everyone, there's another source that's come out and said, oh, the Glazers wanted way more than 6 billion. It's like, well, no, they didn't. They didn't want, they wished. They wished that they could get way more than 6 billion. They wished, but it isn't true. It's not just that, but it's everything else now. It's our centre-back partnership, and this hit different when I really deep it. I'm going to get into comments in just a second. This really hits different. Our centre-back partnership that ended the game against Arsenal in 2023 was the Leicester City centre-back partnership what was it, the 2017-18 season, I think it was. We have right, a former Leicester City centre-back partnership playing against Arsenal in 2023. That is unbelievable to think about. You would have thought, oh, maybe that's the sort of centre-back partnership that you might see prop up at West Ham, or maybe a Fulham, maybe a Wolverhampton Wanderers, maybe even a Bournemouth, perhaps, maybe even Nottingham Forest. But Manchester United is where that comes up at. And it's funny that I've literally just spoken about Gary Neville's comments on the matter, saying, well, he talks as though we're talking like we're a mid-table club, and then I go on and just list off a load of mid-table clubs regarding our centre-back partnership. And it's like, well, if we're talking like mid-table clubs, then maybe we've got exactly the top-level partnership that we should have. Maguire and Evans. We've got the centre-back partnership that we need because we're a mid-table club. Why is everyone mad? Why is everyone crazy? Why is everyone angry? Well, we should be okay with this. We should be happy with this. It's just surreal. It's just a blur. It just doesn't. Sometimes I want to pinch myself and just like, is this just a really bad dream that I've not woken up from yet? We've got Jadon Sancho comments. After Ten Hag publicly criticised him, answering a question as to why is Sancho not in the team? He just wasn't training very well. Sancho very, very quickly, his PR teams on the internet posting out, don't believe everything you read on the internet, guys. And it's not just that one statement that was released by Sancho's team, by the way. It's a lot of things from the Sancho camp has gone into overdrive. And all I've been able to see is everyone grabbing these checklists and just going, right, so you've fucked up here, you fucked up here, you fucked up here, you fucked up here, you fucked up here. Listing off a very long list of disciplinary issues right the way throughout his career. So I'm inclined to saying, well, I should be backing the manager on this. I'm not going to give it, like, whether you want to say, oh, the player's right or not, even if you don't like the manager, even if you hate the manager, the concept that a player has once again come out and sought to claim power over this manager publicly, not privately, publicly, has sought to claim power at this football club to get leverage. Maguire's got it. Sancho's got it now. Pretty sure Rashford has it. Player power. Very rife at Manchester United. The mental side of this team, this club, is all wrong. But the thing is that's very apparent is that there's a mentality issue at every single level. And if we're looking at the situation as a whole, it spreads like poison. So if every level's got a bad apple, or it's got rot, or it's got poison, usually the diagnosis is to just strip the whole thing. Just get everyone gone. The ownership's toxic. The club hierarchy is toxic. Elements of this management team with his coaching staff are toxic. Well, maybe toxic strong to describing it, but there's problems there. And then the players that's toxic. It's just toxicity everywhere. It's at a point where it's like, do we need to have a Chelsea summer if Qatar were to come in? Do we need to have a Chelsea summer or a summer like Nottingham Forest where they just sign just a ludicrous amount of players? Do we need to do that just to push out all the negativity in the club, all the ill mentality at this club? Like, we're not even at the table of discussion to talk about standards. We're not even at the table. Like, a lot of people, we've got to upkeep standards at football clubs, right? But we're not even able to sit at the table to talk about standards because everyone's out for themselves. It's like, I see CM Punk getting fired from AEW, and you see the fucking mess that is over there. An absolute calamity. It's funny everyone's looking over there because someone actually got fired for going into business for themselves. Well, look over here at Manchester United, the same shit's happening. Minus, throwing fists at each other or making attempts on other people's lives. The same shit. Everyone's just going into business for themselves. It's a wrestling company over here, but not even a working wrestling company. Not even a functional one. It's like a completely dysfunctional wrestling company, this. Everyone's just out for themselves. We're beyond that. I don't know what word I need to use to actually describe this. I don't actually know. That's the problem. Usually there are words to describe the situation, but this time I don't have any. There are none. There are none. We've got the Anthony situation going on as well. Greater Manchester Police have said that they're going to potentially start an investigation. If that be the case, then Anthony needs to be removed from the team because you've got to keep the same energy that you kept for Greenwood. He's got to be kicked out of footballing activities whilst the investigation's ongoing. And then he comes out with a statement denying all the charges, doing his own releases. I mean, we're so finished. We are so finished. And these are not problems that you can just, well, I mean, maybe a couple of weeks it would take a really fully functioning club to sort all of these issues out. We don't have people at this club to actually deal with those situations, to actually see that problem and fix them. We don't. We don't have anybody. People are, it's like the hierarchy of ducking for cover themselves. They're just like, oh no, look at all the arrows coming overhead. Why don't you do something about it? Why don't you go out of your way to fix some of these issues? You run the club. You run it. So there's a problem, fix it. But you need to be fixed yourselves. So why should we have hope in you? The ownership's got to change. Because at least then they will kick everybody. They'll wipe the floor with every motherfucker in sight. And they'll bring everybody in that knows how to do a job and do it well. So when they come in, even if they're not the most world class at their line of work, at least they're professional enough to know when something's not good enough and they will act upon it. If a player starts speaking out, that player better be on the transfer list the next day, or more so to that, sacked, pay off his contract and fuck him off to that free agents list and tell the world, this guy's a twat. Sign him at your own discretions. That's what you should be doing. That's what a competent, well-functioning club would be doing. But better yet, to that point, a better functioning club wouldn't even sign people like that. So you'd actually kind of avoid the situation to begin with, because there's people thinking. I'm going to start going through some comments here. I see there's quite a few that I've not attended to yet, but Big T, big ups to you, mate. Good to see you. I can't take all the fans finding positivity drives me insane. It's like they are so used to shit that they celebrate bare minimum. I completely agree with that. What really pisses me off as well is the amount of people screaming and crying, oh, VAR, officiating, oh, it's not fair, it's corrupt. It's corrupt when it happens to us, but if it happens to somebody else, shh, don't say anything. Just keep it low down, keep low profiles. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody, because if you start talking and you start saying, haha, we got a decision, they'll come for you. And they'll come for everything you got. And the second that you get screwed over, they are watching and they're refreshing your timeline. They're waiting for you to talk. They're waiting for it. We are just as insufferable as those Arsenal bastards. Just as insufferable. Oh, it's corruption. They're all against us. We're the victims. Sorry, I didn't realise that everybody had Liverpool FC syndrome. Victims of everything. Oh, everything's not fair. Everybody's out to get you. How about you focus on the fact that a collective of fans say the officiating's not good enough, we want change to the officiating. As a collective, you can't complain then, but the way we're acting with it, we deserve to be screwed over. We're almost there. Screw us over some more. I'd love to see us melt down even more so. Spurs is the reality. We are going to finish below Spurs. To be honest, I can't really disagree with you on that. You see, Spurs went to Turf Moor, right? Turf Moor, usually, just on paper, tough away ground, usually is. I know the football might be quite easy to score against, but still, an away game, usually a tough day out at the office. Spurs went there and bitch slapped Burnley. Bitch slapped them. Heung-min Son, someone who's barely scored goals, gets a hat-trick. Son's back, people. Son's back. We gave up when the manager bought on Maguire and Evans to try and hold on for the draw. Mate, I thought we just gave up completely when, to be honest, I saw the fight disappeared when our second goal was ruled out for offside. It's like we gave up because it was just like, we went through all of that work and effort to nick a winner right at the end, but we got stuffed by VAR, we got stuffed by the officials. So what do? We give up. We stop trying. We stop focusing. We stop running. We stop doing everything that we were doing for 90 minutes beforehand. We just stopped trying. And that's the thing. It's a mentality issue again. Back to square one. And this is the thing. We're talking about mentality problems where before Ten Hag came in. Brentford 4-0 away loss, right? We were seeing, Ten Hag punished the players doing this, they punished the players doing that, going on like a 10-kilometer run or something, and the manager joined in, got to teach these players about mentality. If you don't try, you'll be punished. That you got to give everything, you got to want it, you got to demand it. And we were talking about mentality monsters last season. What if we were just holding on for dear life? Has anyone thought about that? What if we were just holding on for dear life? And the amount of times that we go into a game last season and deserve to lose, get lucky, or just get absolutely pummeled. Well, it's just like we've brushed a lot under the carpet off of last season. Now, I think as far as the achievement side of things go, Ten Hag, okay, fair enough, that's a good start. that is a good start. A trophy, get Champions League qualification for next season. I know you're probably not going to win it, so some people will say, what's the point of qualifying for a competition you're never going to win? But it's just look at where it's part of what you say when you review a season. You say, well, where'd you finish in the table? Well, we finished third place, right? So there's only really two teams that were better than you based off of your league efforts. Two teams better than you. So you got two teams to pass in your endeavours to win the league. You've got two teams to go and improve and be better than. The closer you are to that, the more it contextualizes your summer, so you know what you got to go out and do. But now this time, by the looks of it, we're going to have a whole lot of teams sat above us come the end of the season. A lot of teams. Anthony problems on and off the pitch. To be honest, I didn't think Anthony was absolutely beyond abysmal on the pitch. But I'm not going to lie and say, well, he was fantastic. Oh, look at the work rate. It's like, work rate says one thing, but ability says another. You need to have both to warrant getting yourself like the comments that say, oh, he tried really hard, the team lost, but he won our hearts. You got to talk like that, mate. You got to have the effort, but also the ability and impact on a game. Now, by no means was he terrible. I don't think he was terrible, but you can't sit there and say, well, that's okay for United. As long as you're not terrible, that's fine. Keep on going. But fuck me, this situation off the pitch. It's like, well, if the investigation begins, man's got to be dropped. He's got to be dropped. We did the same to Greenwood. He's got to be dropped. If an investigation starts undergoing in this country, drop him. Exile him from the squad whilst the situation's ongoing. It's only fair. On Sancho, if anyone's manager from work went on socials and said something we disagreed with, we would all respond. The manager started the fire, and now he has to take the heat. Well, the thing is that if a manager comes out and says something, if a player's got a problem with it, why are your PR team going onto social medias and saying, oh, but this manager's lying, he's saying this, he's saying that? What? Hey, what? Mate, if you've got a problem with someone, go deal with it like a man. Go into Ten Hag's office, knock on his door and say, look, boss, we got to sit down. Your comments. I'm not going to you're not going to go air dirty laundry. I mean, fuck me, this ain't Love Island. This isn't Love Island. This is Manchester United Football Club. Why are we airing dirty laundry? It's like this bickering. Like I said, wrestling company. We're a wrestling company, people. Next thing you know, we're going to see Vince McMahon walking out of the fucking Old Trafford tunnel to No Chance in Hell doing his fucking billionaire strut. It's all just a big fucking work, this. It's unbelievable. Unfucking believable. And if there is this conversations going on where people are firing back at each other, manager, oh, my boss he's having this big fight on social medias with one of our teammates, look. Oh, fuck me, the squad might as well just pack up and go home. They're too busy watching this fight going on between their teammate and the manager on social medias. We as fans don't want to see this. We don't want to see this. We want to see a manager instructing his players to do something, his players doing the best they can. If the players are doing their best, but it's not good enough, we know the manager, listen, you've got to fix up and change something because what we're seeing isn't good enough. As long as the players are actually putting in the efforts that we can see it's not working. Can we really have any complaints with that? Circus is the word to describe the situation. Well, that's what I popped in the title. Manchester United is a circus. Everyone at every level of this club is just a complete and utter clown. Just a complete and utter clown. Big red honking noses on your face, all the makeup, your green coloured, fuzzy hair, afros, whatever you want, the squeaky shoes, the crazy patchy outfits. Daniel Psalm says here, Ten Hag is drawing our club. How can he play Anthony and left Sancho for what reason? Oh, it's like Paul Pogba situation, isn't it? If someone ain't, doing or giving enough of a shit on the training ground, or if there's disciplinary issues, I mean, it wasn't reported as to why Sancho was left out prior, but disciplinary issues exist. And I believe that if there is a disciplinary issue, you have to address them. You have to address it. You have to act upon it. You have to act upon it. I said yesterday, Ten Hag out, and I would not change my mind. I have not, and I won't. Short of Hollywood-style dramatic change, I can't see any other way. We do. We need so much change. So much to change. And this is the thing. The biggest clown, if you were to ask a lot of top Reds, who was the biggest clown in the past 5 to 10 years, some people would probably mention Ralph Rangnick. Why? Because he was a manager that had a team that was losing week in, week out. But that's where they draw the line with it. This guy called out everything about this club and this squad. He got sacked, he got kicked out, but he said everything. He laid it out in the press conferences. He laid it out all on a silver platter for everyone to see. This team needs open heart surgery, needs 10 players out and 10 players in, because the mentalities are wrong. Everything's wrong. There's nothing right about this team. It's all wrong. Everything. Top to bottom, all wrong. And it's like with bad mentality, it spreads like poison. It spreads like poison. So sooner or later, if the the influence of ill behaviour, ill mannerisms, no accountability, prima donna personalities starts to take over, starts to influence others, we need to change so much. Geordie, hi mate, what's up? What's up, Geordie? Hope you're doing well, mate. Good to see you. I've been saying all day, you don't have to rely on VAR decisions if you blow teams away. Exactly that. Exactly that. We don't need to sit here and start acting like victims. We just don't. If your team plays well enough, if your team competes well enough, usually you are rewarded justifiably a winning result because the performances were good, the setup was good, and the players played out of their skin. And then what do you have to complain about? Usually, one incident in a game doesn't really change anything, but it's a victim mentality where they think because their team is so bad, they don't want to come out and say, well, my team's really, really bad today. Really bad. Really, really bad. They want to avoid saying that. They want to avoid saying that. So what better than to blame the referees? What better? Their course had work rate. For fuck's sakes, Anthony needs more than work rate. He does. Their course, mate, the guy actually cared, but the fucking ability that he had was, just off the charts, and it was off the charts going the wrong way. That man was literally championship tier player. Had next to no impact in a Man United shirt. Had work rate, and it's like with Scott McTominay. He's got heart and passion and desire. That's why he should start. Well, he hasn't got quality, and how far is your heart and passion going to take you? You know, you need that. That's a given. You need that. But your quality's also got to speak volumes as well. You can't have one and not the other. It doesn't work. You need both. Ronaldo left because of Ten Hag, and now it's Sancho. Mate, Ronaldo left the fucking everything. Man literally called out the entire club, and then the club sacked him. He called everybody out. Literally everybody. Called everybody out and left. While everyone is talking about Sancho and Anthony, etc., they are not talking about the takeover, doing sniff clever PR stunts. What it is there's a lot of people, right, that obviously we get a lot of very reactionary things, right? We do. We get a lot of reactionary people talking about, you know, because it's a big game, right? It's Arsenal. There's a lot of people that are going to focus a lot of times on the football matches, that they forget about everything. It's like with rival fans, they like to mock us by saying, well, look, if United lose a game, look at them whip out the Norwich scarves again. See, it's only when they lose that they're angry, but when they start winning games, the Norwich scarves go away and everyone starts no longer saying Glazers out. I mean, to be honest, they're actually kind of true. It's kind of right. Barring the Norwich scarf thing, you know, green and gold until my club is sold. You know, I'm in that camp, but it's true when they say it. There's a lot of people that only would really care about saying, oh, we hear Glazers out here, Glazers are awful, this and that, when the situation is really, really dire. But when the situation is kind of good, they don't really have the time or effort to say it. It ain't great. It really ain't great. After, you know, same night we won Carabao Cup, I was watching the Carabao Cup final. I was watching it. You know, I won. You know, seeing Avram Glazer made my blood boil. I want to fucking stick a hole through my television. It was before I was doing this as well. So, unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, pretty much fortunately, I'm close to a screen at that point. Might have punched a hole through my computer monitor seeing Avram Glazer at Wembley, pretending to care. Adam Taylor, good to see you, mate. Hello, mate. What's Sancho on 250k per week? At the very least, he should show some professional courtesy. Actions speak louder than words. And I think that is correct. That is correct. Listen, even if you hate the manager, the fact is that you're airing dirty laundry, right? You're airing dirty laundry to a sea of people that, let's be real, you say something online, there's 1,000,001 people that might be happy to weaponize what you say or spark something that's going to spiral out of control and into something much bigger than it is necessary. It's like with Jadon Sancho, the second that statement comes out, I don't know if we're going to see him again. But then again, it's Erik ten Hag. The guy might end up, you know, being a bit spineless and him getting game time again. If he gets another game, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked, and I'll sit there and I'll say, what's this about, Eric? So player power, you're actually conceding to player power then. So if you don't like something, even if the fans are not the most appreciative of it because, oh, it's a favourite player of mine, if there's a professional issue and you don't deal with it yourself, if Sancho gets more games, despite him coming out and undermining your status as a manager, Mate, you're just being a puppet, not just to Glazers, you're being a puppet to your own squad. The second you concede to your players, you concede to them, you are surplus to requirements at a football club because you ain't got no respect. The manager should play Sancho next game and say, go on and show the world I was wrong. As much as we would like to give people a chance on that, I mean, he did kind of send him to the mountains for 3 months, because it was strapped across it with band-aids saying, look, mental health is an issue, and we were all backing it. We were all saying, you know what, Jaden, if you've got mental health issues, mate, take the time that you need, come back stronger, in a better place, in a better frame of mind, right? And when you do, we'll be waiting for you. And we'll just like, mate, Erik ten Hag managing that situation really well. And I thought it was. I thought it was well managed. Just look, if the guy's not mentally in the right place, take a break, take a step back, focus on getting things right at home base first, and then come back, and then we'll go from there. But then to see this, for me, I just believe that with the manager, if he's trying to implement a foundation, right, if he's trying to implement something here with the players, and a player comes out and starts rubbishing that, the manager's got to act upon it and start actually putting some emphasis on you being the manager here. You're not a bitch. You're a manager. You have a power, whether fans like it or not, that you control the players in the squad, right? That's just a matter of fact. That's just how the cookie crumbles here. It's like Pep Guardiola. You don't see Phil Foden coming out and saying that if Pep Guardiola says, "Oh, look, Phil Foden, he's not training quite right. There's the reason why he's not starting games. There's the reason why I've dropped him at the very next game." Phil Foden just shuts the fuck up and gets on with it. He would not. I'm sure he's not happy when he goes and puts in a good performance and gets dropped next game. I'm sure he's unhappy about that. I'm sure he's unhappy that the amount of times that he's in the team, that he's out the team, and then he's back in the team again, and then he's out of the team again. I'm sure he's unhappy with that. But he knows that if the second he speaks out and puts a PR statement from his PR team onto social medias, he will be gone from that club. He will be gone. Straight away, gone out the door. But this is Man United. Say what you want, because everyone's either in your camp or they're not in your camp. It's just a case of professionalism, basic respect, and actually asserting yourself and your authority when you have the authority, not commanding when it's not there for you to command on player side. If you're the manager, you've got authority, you've got power, use it. Yeah. Don't abuse it. Use it when you need to use it. If a player's acting, it's like Marcus Rashford last season was late to training, slept in apparently, right? Slept in, late to training, got dropped the next game. Marcus Rashford didn't put out a PR statement saying it's unacceptable. What's happened here? No, he was asked about it in an interview and said that, yeah, this is what happened. It was just a simple mistake on my part. Look, we've got bigger and better things to worry about on the playing front. So that was the way that situation got dealt with, and a lot of people, I remember, commending it, saying, "Well, yeah, that's how it should be dealt with." No big fights, no reality TV show kind of interaction. You don't get that nonsense. It's all just straightforward. if you make a mistake that's not up to the manager's expectations, or you do something that is a disappointment to your manager, if you get punished for it, don't complain about it. Just get on with it. If there's a problem there, go and speak to your manager behind closed doors. Don't get your PR team to start talking about it on social medias of all places. To the people who say, "Oh, but the manager has not been backed," I say, if that's the case, and the manager has any self decency left, he would walk and tell all. I mean, I believe that the manager hasn't been backed fully. He hasn't been backed fully. He hasn't. That's the thing that we've all said it about the transfer windows. All of us have said it. All of us have said it. Like Sofian Amrabat, where was he? Could have done the deal fucking months ago. Didn't do it. So I mean, the manager hasn't been backed. He's missed out on some of, Plan A targets. We know this, but I believe that a manager has to have spine to him. And if things are really that dire, don't toe the club line. Don't toe it. It's like with the manager's comments post Wolves game, Spurs game. It's like you're trying to tidy up for the people that have been that incompetent. Why are you doing that for? Why are you trying to toe the party line? What for? It's honestly an absolute disgrace. Stop saying what we know isn't true. Speak your mind. Speak your brains. I mean, that's the thing. Ralph Rangnick did it. He got sacked. He was brutal. He is brutal with it, but at least he actually highlighted all the problems. And the club said, "Well, you've highlighted the problems, so we can't let this stay." I've said, if we got battered at Spurs, this was weeks ago. If we got battered at Spurs, I would have all respect for Ten Hag if he walked away from this, if he walked away from everything and said that is unacceptable. I won't tolerate it. I'm having a legacy that I've built for myself, and I'm still building, just swiped out from underneath my feet. Just had the rug pulled, and I've been face planted by my bosses, and I won't tolerate it. This United here. Welcome to the channel. I don't believe I've seen you before here. I'm calling Putz, Maguire, McTominay, Sancho, Martial, Shaw. All these players are the players that will throw the manager under the bus. They need to go. Well, that's the thing. These are players that have been in the squads when we have spoken about player power issues before. When Van Gaal was around, when Mourinho was here, when Solskjaer was here. Now Ten Hag. It's no coincidence that there's still players here from that many years ago, from those many different problems with managers and player power. It's no coincidence. Other than occasional moments we have been poor all season, I actually think we are lucky to have the points that we do. We were lucky to win against Wolves. We were. I think fortunate with the penalty, in my opinion. Bit fortunate with the penalty to make it 3-2 against Nottingham Forest. Realistically, on the basis of performance, we quite possibly could either have three points or 1 point. If we want to talk about justified points tally or justified results from the 4 games we played this season, we seriously could have either 1 point or 3 points from 12. Realistically, 1 point or 3 points. Take your pick. Take your pick. On Ronaldo, compare his hat-trick against Spurs to when we just played Spurs. That was with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well, I believe. I believe that was with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Or was that Michael? No, that was Michael Carrick, wasn't it? I can't remember who it was that was in charge at that time. But, big time Ronaldo. I mean, he's hitting it off in Saudi Arabia now. I mean, the guy couldn't finish his dinner whilst playing at United. Now the guy's hitting some sumptuous strikes in the Saudi Arabian league. over a year later, about a year and a half later, you know, Ronaldo was laughed at for going to Saudi. Now everyone is following. Yeah, exactly. Completely agree with that. I think we need to go down before we can go up. Spend 4 to 5 seasons mid-table, get rid of big names, big wages, and bring in no-name players and coach them into greats. I think just drain all elements of toxicity out of this club. Get it back to basic foundations. And the problem is that we've got to change it from the top, because otherwise, again, the toxicity will drip down. It's like if Glazers are still here. If we sack Arnold and Murta tomorrow, if they sack both of them tomorrow, they won't bring in football people. They will bring in some more mates that they know in a banking profession. Or can you just take over these roles at the club for us real quick? And I'll be like, yeah, sure. We won't get football people in charge. Unfortunately, the biggest change the first change we've got to make is the biggest change, because toxicity will drip down from above, and that's, as I've said, it spreads. Unfortunately, the first change has to be the biggest change, and that's the ownership. Because otherwise, it's just more disaster waiting to happen. Ten Hag comes in, everyone's like, "Oh, this is revolutionary. He's going to change everything. He's going to change the club. We'll win trophies with him." I believe Ten Hag could have won trophies with Manchester United, or got us to be the first manager that would win the Premier League post Ferguson. But the problem is we've got a board that does everything to disable the club and its progression. Like Brighton, make names, don't buy names. I'll tell you what, buy the best players. If you buy names, you're buying the names of other competitors, of other mid-table clubs that have got these, the star players in those teams, right? Or the players that are the best, most functioning elements of those teams. It's like a Southampton, you sign Romeo Lavia or a James Ward-Prowse, or like Wolverhampton Wanderers, you go and you sign Ruben Neves or Mateus Nunes. Go buy the best, like the Bayern, how Bayern Munich run their transfer policy to take the best players of other league teams. If you want to buy names like that, go right ahead. But then some unproven talents or talents with potential, you can scout them worldwide and bring them in, and build them into a Premier League, a well set, structured Premier League setup. I mean, you look at Brighton with Enciso, comes in and starts doing some amazing shit for Brighton out of absolutely nowhere. Moises Caicedo. I mean, they don't really go out and buy like what Man City do, other players from the Prems, or what Liverpool will sometimes do. But I just don't like this idea that we just pay 50, 60, 70 million for unproven players from other countries, from leagues that aren't the Premier League. And we sit there and say, well, look at where all of our money's gone on these players. They come in and they start flopping. Whereas then we get a league rival that signs this super cool, sick player from, just for example's sake, from West Ham or something. So player from West Ham goes to Premier League rival and absolutely just hits the ground running, super cool, works super well in the team. And we're just sat there with like a 80 million, 90 million pound player from this other league that is putting in stinker performance after stinker performance. And we're just like, where did we all go wrong? Not ideal, but we can't sustain the way things are. We can't. We absolutely can't. We are getting further and further away from where we want and need to be. 100%. We are falling away. Um, Bruno missing again in a big game. What's this, his fourth season? Next season will be his fifth. Should we replace him in the summer and try somebody fresh? I believe that there should already be a player that rotates with Bruno, because what we've seen is, I know a lot of people say, oh, big ups Bruno for doing this. I mean, it's like, but then again, should this be celebrated? The fact that this guy practically plays 50 games every season and he's always starting, he's always playing, and it's just like, I swear to God, this guy looks like he's built like a machine that just keeps going and going and going. Man should be rested so many more games than he's actually playing. I honestly really feel like that. We don't rotate him out of the team. It's like it's an obsession, but I think it's actually really unhealthy. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it's somewhat contributing to Bruno Fernandes putting in stinker performances because he's playing too much. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason, but let's be honest, the guy practically has never missed a game. And as much as we can sit there and say, oh, this guy just never gets injured, amazing. It feels like the guy's playing way too much. Way, way, way too much. You should have another player that plays his position to rotate with. It should be somebody else there, not just Bruno, and that's it. Surely not. Mason Mount, fuck me, should not be the option. Um, I think Ten Hag should have a private conversation with Jadon Sancho. Yeah, he should. There should be a private conversation that goes on behind closed doors. You know, you've got some big things to talk about, some big issues to cover. I fully agree with that. If we're regularly mid-table, the owners and board would change, surely. I'll tell you what, big team, when we are mid-table for extended periods of time, we are less appreciated by the bigger, wider world. We have less interest. We have a smaller draw. There's less people coming to watch Manchester United. There's less people investing in it. There's less people believing that there's actual worth and value in Manchester United. The Glazers will see that if this season starts to go horrendously wrong and we start right down the table, straight away, they're going to look at that and look at the financial sheets and go, we are fucked. We are finished. Sell the club. We've got to go. Because if this only gets worse, we can't sit there and ever, even if it's this completely not true, and I believe it's not true, even if they incur in conversation by saying, well, even if we can't get 6 billion for Manchester United Football Club or more than that, we gotta go now. It's like you've got to go now anyways, because this is the thing. The people coming out with reports saying that the Glazers might sell in 2025 where they can grow the value to try and demand 10 billion in 2025. Sorry, has no bankers told you that that's not how this works? Have no bankers told you that the Glazers keeping United at this current stage to sell it at a later date won't work? The finances won't work. You can try and build value, but you only do it when you're putting money in. It only works if you do that. But that's the kicker. You're not putting money in. You're not updating the stadium. You're not renovating things. The training ground's starting to fall apart. Everything, like, people are switching off their interest in Manchester United from now a commercial perspective. So what actually even got the club to grow to this point? That's starting to retreat. So where is your value increase coming from then, Joel and Avram? Right? Because you're the geniuses, right? You're the guys with the foresight, right? Where's it coming from? And Ben Jacobs said it nailed right on the head, right? No sale is possible, but it's impossible for no sale to occur without money being put in. So it would have to be minority investment, but we know that's not worked for you. We know you've tried for years to get minority investment. It hasn't worked. So you explored strategic options, put the club on the market. This might incur to a full-blown sale. All of your options haven't worked. Sir Jim has problems with his bid. You know that, oh, fuck, we can't really, just outright select that because we'll run into more troubles. We'd run into more troubles. Yes, it's kind of guitar or bust. So no sales potential is an option, but who is going to be the Glazers' knight in shining armor? Who's going to do it? Because I don't see nobody stepping up for you. I don't see anybody stepping up for you. So where's this money coming from? That's why when I saw the story come out, I was straight away in the camp saying, nah, it's not true. It can't be true. Because it's like I said, it doesn't make sense. It literally doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it. Financially, it's not logical. It isn't logical. Even if they have the ambition to keep a hold of an asset that makes them money, the problem is your asset is a football club. To keep a football club profiting and going and up to speed, up to date, and all of that jazz, you've got to also put money in the other way. Can't just take dividends and take money out and feed your bank accounts. You can't just take. You've got to put money in, because otherwise it's like you take care of your club takes care of you. It's like when dentists say, well, look after your teeth. So you look after your teeth will look after you. Club ownership is kind of the same thing, isn't it? When the hierarchy care about their club, the club cares about them. It's a revelation, two-way streets. Jaminho, hello, Oppers. Good to see you, Jaminho, mate. Hope you're doing well. Oppers Brewer, I can't stay long as I've got an awful headache, but I'd like the stream. Big ups to you, mate. No worries. Get well soon, man. Mike, is it a hangover that you've got? Have you been straight drinking since yesterday afternoon? Crazy Sunday night, Monday morning, you didn't even go to sleep. You just stayed up. You just rode out the whole night, just necking them pints, keeping them drinks flowing, enjoying the highs of watching Manchester be set on fire, and Mancunians in London crying their tears, flood warnings all over London boroughs. From all the tears that have been shed by United fans, But yeah, get well soon, mate. If anyone watching has not subscribed, please do. We are 6 away from 100. Absolutely, 100% Big T. Big ups, man. Thank you very much for saying as such. We are very, very close to 100 subscribers. We are closing in. It's a slow, gradual process, but we are heading in the right direction. Currently sat on 94 subs, so 6 more until we get to a big milestone. And I really, really would love it if you guys were to subscribe to the channel. Big ups to everybody that has liked the stream as well. Thank you very, very much for supporting this channel. And all of my high points and all of my low points, such as today. All the love you guys have shown me helps me to keeps me going. All right, keeps me going. So big ups to everybody. Thank you very much for all of your love and support. The Glazers could put the club into administration and not lose a penny. It's scary times, and that's the thing. It's not like if they're selling the club, they're looking for return investment. They're looking to make profit off of the club. And this is the thing. The Glazers, I suppose the scary thing is that the Glazers, they bought the club on debt, right? So they borrowed someone else's money to buy the club. That money's still not being paid back yet. That's still not being paid back. It's nearly 2 whole decades. They've still not paid the money back that they used to buy the club. That debt is stuck on top of the club. They could walk away from Manchester United still owing that much debt. They could walk away, and guess what? Because they put the debt on the club has to pay it off. But if we don't get put into good hands, then administration is very much possible. It's very much possible. I mean, the Glazers, if they were to do it, I mean, Christ Almighty, I'd hate to think what would happen to Joel or Avram or someone else in the Glazer family if that were to happen. If they were to, by deliberation, put the club into administration. I'll tell you one group that would probably buy the club off of that state or take over the club would probably be someone like Elliott Hedge Fund, because they were the rescuers for AC Milan. They took over because they were in money troubles. They went and put them in even more money troubles before they eventually, I think it was earlier, it's not, was it last year? I think it was last year when AC Milan actually won the league. They relinquished the control of the club, or the ownership of the club at that point. So they left AC Milan somewhat in better hands, but the situation with them wasn't great. But that's what hedge fund do. They take over assets or companies or enterprises in trouble, in money troubles. So yeah, you can bet your ass if we end up going into administration, it's not Qatar coming to save us. It's probably someone like an Elliott hedge fund that will jump in to this pool, into this sea. They'll dip their feet in and try to steer the ship, trying to turn it around. I mean, God only knows if we'll, ever see any glory ever again if those moments were to come to pass. Big ups to the 2 people that have subscribed. We are out to 96. We are 4 subs away from 100. Big ups to everybody that is subscribing. Love each and every single one of you. Up to 9 likes as well. We're almost on 10 likes, people. 1 more like and we are at a sick benchmark. I've not had many streams at all where I've hit 10 likes. So that would be fantastic if we get on to 10 likes. But let me know your guys' thoughts and feelings about the situation. I'm just going to have a little read through. So, according to Ty Marshall from Manchester Evening News, is that Jadon Sancho could face disciplinary action over his statement after MUFC's loss to Arsenal. So, if that is the case, that would be the manager putting his foot down, or someone on the manager's behalf, I bet, putting their foot down to establish a bit of respect. We'll have to see how the situation transpires, but the real losers in all of this, and when I say losers, I don't mean, oh, you guys all suck. No, it's the people that take all the problems, who bear the weight of this situation and all of the craziness that happens at this club, are the fans, are us, the supporters. We have to go through our everyday lives, maybe in circumstances with people around us that are always constantly like, oh, so how's your team doing this week? And we just have to sit there and just cry. And it's just like, what do you say in these conversations anymore? Like, how do you go to some public gatherings with fans of other football clubs that are your mates and, bear the front of it. Like, how do you do it? Some people do love their football clubs on a different level. A prime example of it was Claude from AFTV, or formerly from Arsenal Fan TV, God rest his soul. Absolutely loved his club. Absolutely loved it. And when it was taken away, or when there were summers and there was no football, where he wasn't able to go to games and just live this element of escapism where things were great, he spoke about when he was feeling down about it. He said he didn't have a good summer. He wasn't in a good place mentally. And that's the thing. That's what sometimes clubs, the effect that clubs will have on people in their lives, where it's get to a weekend, work's been a bitch, you just want to have a bit of escapism and enjoyment and entertainment. You go and watch your team, and you're seeing your football club competing. You see your football club, you're cheering them on. You say, come on, let's go win this game. You're cheering them on, and you can see that players are giving their best for the fans, for the hard-paying fans. Manchester United, we are not a football club. We are not a football club. We are a circus. People are paying their hard-earned money to leave, to get away, to escape from this endless vicious cycle that is life, or work life, to go watch a game just to see clownery on a football pitch. If we wanted to go off to a circus, we'd go and watch a circus. You don't go to watch a football club. You don't go to Old Trafford to watch clownery. You don't go to the Emirates or Anfield or the Etihad or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to watch clownery. And that's not a circus. You go to watch football and support your team. That's what we want. But we're not even getting that. Honestly, it is absolutely tragic. Am I right in thinking 100% takeover would end us being a public company? The public shares would be bought out in a full takeover. Therefore, the part that is available on the New York Stock Exchange would be bought out. Therefore, under private ownership, would then be retracted. So we wouldn't have any shares on any public market that we can openly trade for. We wouldn't have the what is it? Is it 30? Is it 33%? About 32, 33% public shares on the stock exchange. We wouldn't have that. We wouldn't have that. So yes, if we were to be bought out by Qatar, the only bid thus far that is offering to buy out private Glazer-owned shares and the public shares on the New York Stock Exchange, both of those, then yes, we would be taken off the market and it would be privately owned by a foundation that serves on behalf of Sheikh Jassim. So essentially it's 9-2 Foundation, a bit like the consortium that bought Newcastle United. Everyone says, oh, it's the Crown. I call him Bin Man. I know he's not Bin Man. I know he ain't Bin Man, but you get my drift. The Saudi Arabian Crown Prince, a lot of people saying he was the one behind the club. Well, actually, he put a consortium together that was financed by him or his groups, by his banks and whatnot, to go and buy Newcastle United. So it's actually the consortium that was put together by the Crown Prince. And Sheikh Jassim's doing the same thing. He's done the same thing with 9-2 Foundation. He's asked them to go and acquire the takeover of Manchester United. And they're all doing it on his behalf. So I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Sheikh Jassim, I'd love for him to take a... Actually, it's 9-2 Foundation that you should be hoping for. 9-2 Foundation, please, please, please buy this club. Because it's them that's serving on Sheikh Jassim's behalf. That's the consortium that's trying to buy Manchester United on Qatar's behalf. 97 subs. Ooh, we might achieve 100 subs. We might achieve 100 subs on this stream. We're creeping ever closer. Nearly there. We're so close, so close. So big ups to everybody that is subscribing. Thank you ever so much. If Qatar bought 100% and ended up being bad owners, would we be stuck with them? Not many would have the money to buy the club off them. Well, that's the thing. They could be bad owners. I think as much as it is that they could be bad owners, I think it's one of those. It's like a risk. Is it one of those? Oh, it's a risk that you could take. Could you take that risk? Is it worth taking the risk? And it's like you could say, well, I want it to be safe and stick with the Glazers because Qatar could be worse. And that's the problem. There's so many different things where another asset or another person who wants to buy a club could be worse. It's like what happens. And you can imagine the absolute crazy nature that Mike Ashley sells Newcastle United to Saudi Arabian consortium, that they somehow end up doing worse than Mike Ashley, and then Newcastle get relegated to League One or League Two. It's like those things could happen, but it's a risk worth taking because what situation is going on currently is that bad. I mean, we're talking about potential administration for Manchester United Football Club with the current ownership. You can't get that much worse than that. Aside from your club literally closing its doors and ceasing to exist. And administration's not that far away from that state. So if we're talking about Glazer ownership or risk of administration, you kind of you're almost drawn to taking the risk. Do you make that jump? And I believe yes, we should make that jump, bite the bullet. We will be hoping, and that's the thing. When Abu Dhabi bought Man City, they were hoping, we're hoping that this works out. And lo and behold, not much later, it's worked out. Qatari ownership of PSG, a lot of people say, well, that's a failed project for Qatar because they wanted to win Champions League and dominate Europe. But PSG weren't around before Qatar took over. PSG were put on the map because of Qatar. Now, albeit they got to a certain level and they didn't really go past that point, but they still got put on the map. So it's not terrible ownership. It's not horrendous ownership. You hoped for better. You did. You hoped for better. But it's not terrible. Manchester United, we're going the other way. We're already being overtaken by other clubs. We're going backwards. So Qatar, I fully believe that Qatar would have the best interests to seizing control of an asset like Manchester United, recognizing it as a football club with a long history of success, that they believe if we own this club, we want to attain success and keep it prolonged, keep it consistent. All that good stuff, all the things that fans wish for, hope for, look forward to. It whets the appetite of fans when Qatar come in and they don't release statements saying, oh, we want to win everything. If they just start straight away, sack John Murtaugh, Richard Arnold first thing, they bring in a couple of names that some people do background checks and say, oh, wow, these guys are good. These guys are good. Look at these guys' records. They come in, they start literally axing everything. And that's the thing. That's what we want to have. That's where we want to go. That's like the end point there for us. That's one of my main worries with Qatar. Will they understand the history? I believe they can do. They should do, because that's the thing about Manchester United, because of how much it's grown globally, is the fact that it draws interest. The fact that people from all around the world talk about United, with how big the club is, people will do the basic background checks. I mean, what is it that Sheikh Jassim is a self-proclaimed Manchester United fan, a self-proclaimed one, and it's like, well, I'd much rather, you know, take a chance on somebody, even if they are from abroad, that has an affiliation to supporting Manchester United in his past or their past, and that because even if they don't read into the history of the club, if they are a group that wants success, it's like even if people call it sports washing, the fact of the matter is that they want the club to be successful, but everyone else will sit there and just like, oh, we can't compete with that. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still success, isn't it? He's still winning everything. He's still doing things away where football fans supporting that club know that they can enjoy football every weekend, every Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night. Like, you have a much more secured guarantee that you as a fan are going to get a positive feel, a positive reaction from supporting your club. And that's what I want to see, is smiles on the faces of United fans, left, right, and centre, and loving the sights of Old Trafford absolutely rammed to the rafters, and not just any Old Trafford, a renovated, fresh Old Trafford as well. I'd love to see it rammed to the rafters. You know, everyone, full singing voices, players come out the tunnel, manager comes out the tunnel, and we see a good game of football, and everyone's loving it. That's what I love to see. But we're not going to get that until we have someone that views Manchester United and thinks, I don't want to just own this to get money from it. I want to own this club because I want it to be a successful asset, right? That's better than the rest. We need to move mountains to employ Brighton scouts. I wouldn't be against employing a couple of Brighton scouts to find the sort of lesser known players, because I think you can spot talent with two working eyes and a brain that's, you know, very switched on, that's very understanding to what player or what abilities players have that can offer your team a boost in your squad and going into new seasons. I'm all for that. I would absolutely love to have a scout that, you know, links us to a lot of lesser known names, but people that have something to offer. But we need the right. As much as we want scouts, we need good negotiations. We need the right coaching team, right coaching staff, right manager, the right everything else. You know, everything from top to bottom. It's got to be good. And I think as far as scouting goes, you know, I'm not against signing a couple of Brighton scouts. Plus, also their instructions for what they're scouting for. Obviously goes from what it is at Brighton to changing when it gets to Manchester United, that they might be instructed to go look for something a little bit different than what they were used to at Brighton. So as much as we say, well, Brighton scouts who, you know, get them will have superstars in the making, they might get told, can you go look for different types of players or players at different stages? Could you go look in those areas and scout players for us where they might not be as good potentially? It's just a theory. We'd have to see it actually in action and happening for us to actually make the assumption that. Being a fan, has Jassim ever been pictured at a United game? He certainly has always had the money to do so. No excuses. To be honest, I think I've seen a couple of like one. I think there was one notable picture where the same face that we've seen wearing his what is it, Crown Prince outfits or something, sat at the table with his pen, right, his full white outfit and all that. You know the one I'm talking about, the one that's literally plastered in every single Sheikh Jassim or Qatari report nowadays. It's literally just got Sheikh Jassim sat there like. I think there's been one picture that's gone around where he was, I think, at one of the VIP boxes at Old Trafford. Um, but supposedly there was a Twitter account named under Sheikh Jassim, that I think people have gone back to try and verify. I don't know if it was actually fully verified that that was his Twitter account of old, where he was making tweets years and years and years ago that were about Manchester United. Try expressing his thoughts and feelings on certain games and performances, and he's had a few select words to say about Manchester United performances of the past, not good ones. Let's put it that way. But I think there's a lot of people that are like, is this guy actually real? I think the guy that there's being pictured is real. I don't know what the sort of nature is like for people, um, when you picture people from the Middle East, whether they are sort of as involved or out there as, say, someone that's from any other country. Maybe they like to keep things on a low down, on a low profile. They don't want to picture themselves everywhere because maybe just a security reason, perhaps. I don't know the reason as to why there perhaps is a lot less visual evidence of Sheikh Jassim having involvement or affiliation to supporting Manchester United in the past. But the thing is that if some people say, well, look at Sir Jim Ratcliffe, that guy's he says he's a United fan, a United lad because he grew up in the local area. Well, the guy's a season ticket holder at Chelsea. Why ain't you got a season ticket at Man United, mate? That's your boyhood club, no? You tried to buy Chelsea as well. It's one of those things. What are your stream plans for the international break while not much is happening? I mean, I'll probably do a lot more interaction shows across the international breaks. I know there's not really going to be a lot to talk about, game wise for United, but I think there's still going to be some interaction shows like this one. Probably some shows with some guests on, perhaps, as well. And hell, Big T, as I know that you've shown a bit of interest into potentially starting your own channel. I saw with your profile picture in Jez's channel that you had something called the Big T Show or something in there. I was like, oh damn, Big T's he's getting himself set up. And if you are potentially looking to getting your own channel started up, I'll look forward to it. Do be sure to shout yourself out in a stream. I'll shout you out as well, mate. Make sure that you get yourself off the ground and up and running in quick fashion. Get you on your journey, on your way. But yeah, as far as plans across the international break, we'll have to see what goes on. I mean, there's not really going to be transfer shows because the transfer window isn't open. But maybe we talk about all things football, perhaps not just United, perhaps some other things as well, other clubs. What will be interesting is Mohamed Salah, if he gets his £200 million bid offer tabled, if he's going to take the offer and go. Might have to do a stream based around that. Tell me how a member of the royal family that are head of state is not state linked. What am I missing? I think it's based around the sourcing of funds. I think there's banks that a lot of these guys are owners of in the Middle East, and they're usually different banks, but I know a lot of times banks are intertwined in the Middle East. But I think what this is that they've had to prove to UEFA that these guys that own PSG are not sourcing their funds from the same pool of cash, or that they're not directly, moving money and business around behind closed doors, or when people do background checks on them, that there's not some like suspect activity going on there. And I think the 9-2 Foundation, they've had a few stumbling blocks with things like that, but I think most of which has been cleared up. Supposedly, with what Ben Jacobs has said, is that the Glazers apparently have been frustrated that they've not actually had meetings with Sheikh Jassim directly, because apparently Sheikh Jassim has not been involved directly with anything negotiation wise. That it's all just been 9-2 Foundation and the people of that group, not the guy that's put the consortium together and is actually fully backing the takeover process. Now that's a bit strange that Sheikh Jassim has not openly come forward to have meetings with the Glazers. I don't think he's actually met them once. That what apparently the meeting with what is it, the PSG guy? I've forgotten what his name is, but apparently the Glazers asked the bloke who runs PSG or owns PSG, can you encourage this guy to come and have meetings with us, or to come and speak to us, because you will know him better, but we're not able to encourage him to come to the table and speak with us. So I think it's a bit strange that the Sheikh Jassim hasn't like been a lot more front and center for this takeover process for Qatar, or the 9-2 Foundation. So I think that's the thing that I'm skeptical about most with Qatar. But as far as the consortium side of things, it's it's interesting to say the least. 3 more subs needed, and for 100, if anyone can oblige. Yes, we're very, very close people. Shout outs to everybody in chat. Stephanie Griffiths, good to see you. Big up, Hot Person, Big T. Big ups to you too, Stephanie. How are you doing? Hope you are well. Hope you're doing okay with the sorry state of affairs with Manchester United. And yeah, I've been playing around with channel logos and banners. Not got around to thumbnails yet, all just ideas at the moment. Not even sure if my crap laptop would hold up. Well, I'll tell you what, if it's like Lee Gunner with his Mac laptop, man, literally is living is on its last breaths every single summer because it's so hot out in Spain that his laptop, his Mac, just acts up every other day. The second he goes live, it's just glitchy and it's all just like stop start because the weather is so hot that his stuff is just really like it's not coping with it. I mean, me with my streaming setup, I'm using a gaming PC, so high powered, high processor, everything, with 2 monitor screens here. So I'm fortunate to have a smoothly running setup, but some people do have less than this, low resolution cameras and all of that, but they'll try and make the best of the situation. And yeah, it's just one of those things. As long as your internet is good, then you should be okay. And I think because if you just do a stream like this with a face cam, I mean, sometimes people might do podcasts without needing to do face cams, just have the microphone or something. I mean, some people just do that. I think even if the rig is not, top end, high level, I think some people still go ahead with it. I mean, some people do streams and videos on mobile phone. I've done a video on this old thing. This thing loses about 20% battery in the span of 10 minutes if I've got 1 or 2 applications open. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. When I was doing a video recording outside, I tried to upload it. It was so hot, had the phone on the table, right, keeping it in the shade. This thing was about to melt because it was that hot. It was overheating and literally went for about 70% battery down to, I think it was 20%, about 30 minutes because I was uploading a video at the same time on it. Mental. Absolutely mental. Awesome to see you. Stephanie Griffith is a mod on about 700 channels. I'm not surprised. Literally every channel I go into that's United or other streamers, I always see Stephanie Griffith in there. Man, she's literally everywhere. She's very good if you ever need another mod. I'll definitely be sure to ask. I mean, if Stephanie would like to be a moderator, I'd much prefer to ask to see if people would be happy to have something like moderation, because I know sometimes if you're a moderator, you feel like there's an obligation to be doing work on someone's behalf, which is like a bit of a responsibility. And I don't want to just say, well, look, you can have moderator, and everyone can be like, oh, well, okay, I'm a moderator now. I mean, if you'd like it, you're more than welcome to have it. I've got absolutely no problems with Stephanie being a moderator for the channel. If she would like it, she can have the moderator's role. That's entirely up to her. I think this thing has a processor they put in mobiles. It's more a notebook, I think. So at least it's not a Nintendo DS. If you're trying to do streaming on a Nintendo DS, oh boy. Yeah, you can have a logo on screen instead of being on screen. I've seen it on other channels. Yeah, I've seen um, some other podcasts. I mean, sometimes no live streaming can be a bit of a ball ache for some devices. That I think what they do is pre-record stuff, so it's just recording offline, all of that stuff, just recording it and then uploading it later on. I know some people do that. I know some episodes, like people, I mean, I could get people in here as guests and all of that and just do a pre-recorded show instead of doing a live stream. But I do this because of chat interaction. So there is that alternative as well. And what you can do is if you do a pre-recorded episode of something or a pre-recorded show, you can premiere it so it goes live and you can live interact in the YouTube comments for people that will watch it in real time as well. So there's 3 different formats. I'm yet to do a premiere video or stream or something like that. I'm still yet to do that, but maybe there's a point where I do something like that, where it's all pre-recorded stuff, and then it gets sent out there, and we just kick back and relax and watch chat go into absolute carnage, like absolutely brilliant. But if you switch your camera off now live, I think your logo comes on screen. I think it does. If I do Control E here, it will do that. I think what it does with this is it doesn't. I don't know if it's to do with the Google account, because I know that's the same picture you see on the Google accounts, because I mean that's what my Gmail account that's associated to this StreamYards account is. That's what the logo is for that. I think if I were to do a Gmail logo for my Gmail account, that might be what comes up on here. It's either that or it's just completely StreamYard related. But yeah, I think if you also drop out and stuff, that it automatically like switches your camera off as well. Not sure about those things. See, I could literally stop mic and stop cam at the same time as options, but yeah, there's plenty of things to play around with StreamYard. But some people, I know guys like what's it, Daily Red Devils, and I think Stefan from United Philosophy does OBS. They use OBS softwares to do their live streams or their videos and stuff. But StreamYard here is a website-based streaming service. So it's literally a website, create an account, and you get all of the stuff made available to you. The thing is that if you want to do all backgrounds and all the cool editing stuff, OBS you probably will have to use to get all of the stuff on, because if you want to fully customize StreamYards and everything, you would have to do a payment thing. There is a paywall to be able to go into full customization for this, which I've done for this because I want to be able to have this option is available to me. I do have OBS. I do have Streamlabs as well. So there are alternatives for me when it comes to creating or doing the streams. Yes, your Gmail account, your YouTube account, and Play Store account can have 3 different pics, all the same. Yeah. Someone here has just said that I don't know who advised Anthony on that statement or if anyone did, but it's incredibly ill-advised if you realise what it says. So someone studying some laws I've got a here we go as well, apparently, for Eric Bailly going to Besiktas. Eric Bailly is now leaving the club. A 1-year deal. Negotiations are ongoing between Bailly and Manchester United to terminate his contract. So Eric Bailly is leaving the club. Interesting. Which one lets you pass your viewers onto another streamer? I, to be honest, I don't think it is a stream related thing. I know with YouTube, you do have to have a certain amount of subscribers to unlock a channel perk that you can use, where you can do like post stream raids, where your viewerships will then go into another person's stream, or it will automatically jump over to someone else's stream that you want it to go to. I know Twitch allows you to just do it anyway. Like you can just select who you want to go and raid by the channel host's discretions, you know, whatever you want to do. Where I think is with YouTube, you can't do it using a YouTube feature where it just hands you straight over. You have to have a certain amount of subs to do that, to unlock the channel perks. But there's 2 things that you can do instead of that. What I could do is, before I end the stream, is put the link to a pending live stream or a current live stream into the chat for people to go and drop into, or I can just edit whilst I'm live on the YouTube page the show description and put in a link there, and then instruct people to click on that link. I can do that. That's one alternative. Or on StreamYards, you have to do the subscription planner on StreamYards. But what you can do is you can host a load of other people to be your guests on your stream. I've done it with Yeti. But if you have a certain option switched on to allow your guests to stream the same stream to their channel, that they don't have to have the subscription planner, just the person hosting it does. So if the host has got the option switched on, you can have a free StreamYards planner, completely free, no payments taken. But if you're the guest on the show that's got the option switched on, then you can stream to your own audiences. There should be a little button at like the top right hand of the StreamYards web page. By leaving for a fee or free, I would assume there's probably going to be, I don't know, I think it's got to be a fee, because there'll still be money left, and plus it's not 6 months left on his contract either, so there's probably going to be a fee. But again, contract termination on the player side, we have to pay off the player. Does StreamYard let you share your gaming stream on YouTube, or is that something else? If you do gaming streams, if it's under the same channel, if you do different channels, then you can put it in your channel page that you're linked to another, or your second channel. So you can literally tell people, if you go to the channel page, if you go click on my gaming channel that's present there. Don't have any links for it in my video titles or descriptions, but if you go to my channel homepage, there, I think if you do the, I think it's even YouTube Studios where you get to edit your channel homepage, and the links that you have there, I think you can link to another YouTube account there if you want to do a gaming stream on YouTube. What you can't do on the channel's page is link a Twitch account or a Kick streaming account. Can't do that, but if it's on YouTube, then you can do so. How do you share your screen whilst gaming? I think what you do on StreamYards, the way to do game capture on here is if you do present, there's a little tab at the bottom where you get the different options for your personal self that you can do present, and there is the option to share screen, and I think all you have to do is select the live process or application to capture, and once you've selected that, it will have to be something that's ongoing, that that StreamYards can detect is a live capturable window. Even if you go into it full screen, you won't be able to see your StreamYards page, I'd imagine, but what you should be able to do is then it captures, but what you need to do on your StreamYards, on the editing, when you select your layout or layout how you want to set it up, like probably stick it either right in the middle of the page like I've got my face cam here, or you could make it full screen and then have a bit of the overlay just on top of it. You could do that. But yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can play around with, to be honest, with StreamYards. I think there's still stuff that I'm sort of getting used to. I'm still getting into the swing of things. But usually if I do a gaming stream, I will resort to OBS and streaming on Twitch, as that's where I've done my previous gaming streams. Plus, I've got two separate audiences between the two, so I wouldn't want to have people who are only interested in gaming watching a football YouTube channel, plus vice versa. I want people that aren't interested in gaming, seeing gaming content come up on my channel, because it's just like, oh, that's annoying. There's two separate platforms for that for me. Not everybody else has to do the same. Don't have to do the same. You can do it different ways, but that's just how I do it. Yeah, I'm going to wrap things up there, people. I don't want to go on too long. I don't want to be up too late this evening. I've got a nice early start with work tomorrow. But I will be back somewhat earlier afternoon-ish, a bit earlier afternoon. So I should be back to doing something. If the weather's nice, I might pick up some nosh, on the way back, and I might go just chillax outside if the weather's good. Chillax, hot weather, open a parasol or something, do me a recording or something, do whatever it is that makes me feel good, enjoy the nice things in life. So I might do that. Great stream again. Thank you very much, Big T, for contributing to making it great. It's not just me that makes the show great. It's also the chat and the interactions we have. Everybody has a part to play in all of these shows being very unique, special, and entertaining. You guys are entertaining for me as well, so I do thank you guys very, very much so for interacting with the channel and taking time out of your days to spend some time in my channel with me. Thank you very much. It's really, really appreciated. Very, very generous of people to do so. We are on 11 likes. Thank you very, very much, guys, for that support. It's really, really appreciated. I remember your early streams when you were talking to yourself. I'll tell you what, when you start doing this and it feels like it's an echo chamber, like you're sat there, you're almost subconsciously aware of people sitting outside or somewhere else hearing you talking, and you're like, oh, they're gonna think I'm crazy or something. You sort of get those sort of subconscious awareness things when you start doing it. Because I used to do like about an hour, 2 hour stream, like way back, and I had like one or two, maybe three views across, accumulated across the full hour, like crazy stuff. But I used to do streams where it's like, grab yourself as many topics as you can because you're going to cover them very quickly in an hour. Sometimes I'd finish all my topics in the hour and just like, well, what do I say now? Yeah, what do I go with now? And to be honest, it's gotten a lot, way easier over time. Way easier. And going on to other streams as well, like on Jez's channel, on Yeti's channel. I think those are the only two channels that I've actually been guests on so far. I believe DVS wants me to go on to, I believe it's an American Idiots show as well. They would like for me to go on there at some point. So that's probably in the pipe work somewhere down the line in near future. So I'm looking forward to that. Really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a banger of a show when that happens. But yeah, it's something that you sort of get used to over time. So we'll have to see how things progress as time wears on, at least for me as well, seeing where the channel goes. Stefan needs to get you on. I mean, I'd like to, I would like to go on to a show with Stefan, but I think with Stefan, what he does, how he does his content is very sort of, I believe it's like comparable to like a news anchor or something, where he's got the channel to interact with, but he's sort of rifling through the different talking points and discussions, and he poses that sort of rhetorical or the open-ended question for chat to interact with, and the occasional poll as well. I'd say it's not like what he does is he uses OBS, so I think there's a certain specific way that you have to do like multiple client streaming or something if you are going to get somebody else on one's channel, but they use OBS. I think they used to do it with Skype. I think it was. It used to do it with Skype. They used to do it with Discord. I think with Discord, that's another one. Is Discord, where you can do call-ins there. But if you have an overlay, what you'd have to do is get the layout for Discord, where the two screens are with the camera switched on, and then build your overlay around that layout. I mean, it sounds a bit like a ball ache, but maybe there's that. I have recommended StreamYards to Stefan. I think it's one of those that he's like, what? I think he'll probably check it out in his own time when he fancies it, when he feels like it, because it is a different layout. And if you've got a setup on your OBS, you would have to either reciprocate that as a layout or an overlay and try and transfer it over into StreamYard settings. But that might be a bit of an annoyance. But I'm more than happy if Stefan would like to, if he's got the time to do it. I'm more than happy to invite Stefan on to do a show, a Man United show, just to discuss some key topical points and talking points. Any point, I've got the setup to do it, and Stefan would only just need to create a free StreamYards account, and then Bob's your uncle, off you go. So I'm open. I've got an open door to this sort of thing. I believe I've also got some point either not tomorrow, but Wednesday or Thursday. I'll probably do a stream with Longhaired Yeti again, because we want to do this thing where it's like a weekly episode. We talk about the games. I'm going to get absolutely ripped a new one on that one. I swear to God. I mean, Yeti, he's riding on a high, beating Chelsea in their own backyard. Chelsea in the mud, United getting slapped up in in North London, as you do, it's going to be a long show when that comes around. I swear to God, it's going to be a long show. But there's plenty of more things to enjoy about it and look forward to. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that midweek chat, talking not just about Man United or Nottingham Forest, but all clubs. We're going to be talking about every club um, pretty much that played at the weekend, just talk about all the things that have happened, all the talking points, a bit of a crazy chat at times, but that's what I really like about these shows. Is it's so chilled out. There's not this constant seriousness or uptightness about it. It's very relaxed, very loosey goosey. Just let the chat flow, just let the stream flow, just the topics flow, just all of that stuff. Just it's liquid flow to the show. Liquid flow to the show. Um, but yeah, that's it from me today. I'm going to go and shower myself because I am sweating like a pig. It is an oven in this room, and those curtains have been closed with a window open since midday, and the fan has been on for most of the evening as well, and it's still boiling in here. Literally, it's mad one, absolutely mad one. But I've got to finish the rest of this as well. I've got to finish it soon and not spend too long, because otherwise I'm going to, I'm not going to be getting myself to sleep at an easy way, at an easy rate. So yeah, finish this off real quick and get showered and beautiful for work tomorrow. So stay liquid. We're gonna have I'm already nearly fully liquid, mate. So yeah. But yeah, big ups to everyone. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow. Whether we do an upload for a video or such, I'll probably try and do a video. I've got a new phone as well that I need to set up. I need to replace this old scummy bastard. Get a new phone set up. It's one of the latest ones. Get a new phone set up. Do perhaps a recording outside. Chill out, kick back and relax, and perhaps do a stream later on in the evening. So yeah, stay chilled, everyone. Stay cool, because I know the weather in this country is going a bit crazy, but I like it. I like it. Unfortunately, I haven't got a swimming pool. My fucking neighbours do. My neighbours have got a swimming pool in their backyard. I don't. That's mental. I want a swimming pool. I literally want to go jump into a swimming pool and stay cool. And I know for actually that everybody else will go jumping in that pool as well, rather than sit there and bake our sorry lives away into oblivion. But thank you very much to everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you again on the next one. We are out skis. Ciao for now.